It's time for the Coach's Corner Show with your host, Pat Disabato.
Hello and welcome to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. I'm your host, Pat Disabato from the Daily Southtown newspaper. And hey folks, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, 2019. It is upon us. So hope everybody had a great holiday season. I know I did. Looking forward to 2019. We're starting off the season here with a great guest, an old friend of ours, Tom Mulvey from Athletex, Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy. Two locations, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. That's the location we are at right now. And the other location's at 11140 West 179th Street in Orland Park. So Tom's going to talk about a bunch of different things regarding injuries and physical therapy. He's also an exercise physiologist. So we got a great show, very informative. And you know, if you're parents of an athlete, this show is must-see for you. All right, folks, we are going to go to a Beggar's Pizza timeout. Remember, join the Big Cheese Loyalty Program. Plenty of perks, Beggar's Bucks, lots of good stuff. You join that Big Cheese Loyalty Program at Beggar's Pizza. We return. Tom Mulvey from Athletex will be our guest. Stay tuned.
We came up with a bunch of clever commercial ideas to entice you into trying Beggar's Pizza. We decided to let the food speak for itself.
Hello, boys. I'm a drop-dead gorgeous pepperoni sausage, hold the vegetables deep dish pizza. Just look at my cheese. Your place or mine. Beggar's Pizza. We lay it on thick.
My experience was nice. It was easy, no pressure, easy sales. The first experience was so good that I kept coming back.
When I arrived to Apple Chevy, I was impressed. Just started with my dad, and then my dad recommended me like, hey, go to Apple Chevy, don't go to a different dealership, they help you out.
Having surgery or dealing with some type of nagging pain that limits your function? Then get to Athletex. We offer treatment for all types of orthopedic injuries, work-related injuries, and sports injuries. Therapists with over 20 years of experience provide treatment that is efficient and effective. Our 2,000 square foot clinics offer state-of-the-art equipment from HydroTrack, Blankenship, and Biodex. If your doctor suggests physical therapy, then you suggest Athletex, where every patient is treated like a champion.
Hello, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. We're having a lot of laughs offset here, but our guest this week, owner of Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, also physical therapist and exercise physiologist, Tom Mulvey.
Hey, Pat.
Tom, thanks for coming on board again, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
And we're also joined by a special guest who, back in the day, was my principal at Eisenhower High School and is a patient of Tom's, Donata Yates. And Miss Yates, thank you for coming to the taping, all right? Just an absolute pleasure to see you again after all these years. So a sweetheart of a woman and a great principal at Eisenhower High School. So, all right, we'll try and keep this informative for all the folks and for Mrs. Yates. So Tom, you know, you're the expert, you are the man here. So we're going to talk about psychosocial impact of an athletic injury. And obviously there's all kinds of different injuries that you deal with. So let's kick things off here. What do you want to hit on first here? Because there is obviously a wide range here.
You know what? Typically we look at these young athletes as being just so tough and so durable, and when they are injured, there's a strong assumption that the process is very simple, and that depending on the nature of the injury, that the process will go through and this person will be back to play at this particular date or this particular time. And unfortunately, it isn't that simple. That they, depending on the severity of the injury, that obviously that compounds the problem. But there's also some things that these young people go through with an injury that we tend to take for granted.
Yep. And I guess the big thing here, Tom, is, you know, they're being pushed a lot, they're being forced, you know, they want to get back and then they can't get back. I mean, it's got to be tough for an athlete parents, right? They want to get back and help their team. I mean, what's your advice on things of that nature?
Well, the process of getting back, there is a group of authors that kind of combined for a theory, Brewer, Daly, Hale, and Kubler-Ross. And it's almost like the theory of grieving, where these people, these young athletes will go through a process of just starting to comprehend the particular injury. So the first phase of it is called cognitive, and that's where the athlete will interpret the situation and appraise within their own ability to figure it out what are the potential ramifications of this situation. Are they optimistic? Are they pessimistic? Can they really achieve the goals that could possibly be set up for them?
Yep.
Then they'll progress into a second phase of affect, where they'll start to let their emotions be revealed. And we as clinicians really need to pay attention to these things. They need to be able to see if, are they moodier? Is there a sense of relief that now the pressure of them having to compete and try to pursue a scholarship is off their shoulders temporarily? Yep. Is there anger in regards to the situation? Third phase is behavior. So now they go into a situation where they look at all of this and they say, okay, how can they cope with it? Are they going to be cooperative? Are they going to do what's asked of them in order to make this process of healing and rehabilitation progress the way that we need it? Or are they going to kind of act out a little bit and perhaps go to the gym and do things that they're not supposed to be doing, or be listening to people that they shouldn't be listening to? And the final phase is the outcome, and that's what we're all sitting down and what we're paid to provide for the parents and for this young athlete. An outcome in which is somewhat expedited, but it is of quality, and that we return them to play in an appropriate time frame. But there are so many obstacles that can occur here simply because this young athlete may have had a skewed perception of the situation that they've been dealt.
Yep. And most people believe, athletes are tough. So how do you know what the athlete is thinking, about during their rehabilitation?
That's a great question, and that's key here. We can't assume with these young people that everything is fine, and they can give that kind of presentation. They feel like they could be letting their team down. They could feel like they're letting their family down. Scholarship is at risk. They feel that it's disruption. There's a disruption in their social network of friends and support. They're disappointing people. They feel that they're compromising their relationship with the coaching staff, and they feel that their position on the team is at risk. And keep in mind, this is how they get their identity. This is they're an athlete that competes, and all of a sudden all of this now is thrown askew.
And so what are other concerns, regarding the injured athlete?
So I think it's important that all of the healthcare providers, it could be the trainers, it could be the coaching staff, it could be the therapists, we see them out of their home environment. It's important for us to see how are they presenting. Is there a lack of motivation? This can be affected, this could affect both their ability to do the rehab as well as their schoolwork. Are they isolating themselves, maybe not mixing with their friends as often? Do they appear depressive? And all of these things, the depressive episode can result in, they could be overeating now, or they could be not eating, of which long term it's going to affect how we get to our eventual outcome.
So basically what you're saying, Tom, is that the proper medical care is not enough to get an athlete back on the field.
No,
right?
It's absolutely not. It is, we could be doing all of the right things, and we could be missing the fact of just how this young student athlete is perceiving the situation. They could be looking at this as being a complete change in their life as they know it, and yet it can only be a hurdle that we as a staff can help them to overcome.
Okay. All right, we're going to go to a timeout. Elisa Thomas Salon timeout. Remember, 3 locations, Mokina, Tinley Park, Orland Park, $27 haircuts for gals, $17 haircuts for girls. Just show your high school ID. All right, folks, we come back more with Tom Mulvey from Athletics. We're going to pick up on who decides when an athlete returns to play, so stick around.
At Lisa Thomas Salon, we think loving yourself and your selfie starts with the perfect stylist. That's why we've assembled an amazing team, each with a unique passion for beauty, providing the perfect combination of innovation and experience. Then adding just a little bit of fun. For hair, skin, nails, and makeup, no one does beautiful like Lisa Thomas. Because life's too exciting to settle for the same old thing. Schedule today at Lisa Thomas Salon, a Redken Elite partner with 3 area locations.
Bob's Auto Body and Repair in Blue Island has been prospering since 1968 when Robert Warniak Sr. opened a business. Bob's goal? To go above and beyond to satisfy their customers. Whether it's a small ding or a major collision repair, Bob's is a trained technician and state-of-the-art equipment to meet the high standards their customers expect and that Bob's demands. Bob's also offers complete mechanical services for your automobile, from an oil change to brake repairs. Mention this ad, Bob's will detail your car for free with any auto body work or give you a free oil change with any mechanical work. Bob's Auto Body and Repair, Blue Island.
If you're suffering from physical pain, nothing else matters. The one thing that should is Midwest Orthopedic Consultants, because experience never mattered more. Serving the community for 25 years with over 90 years of combined orthopedic experience, our fellowship-trained surgeons provide individualized care to those suffering from orthopedic pain. We deliver comprehensive care from diagnostic to surgical to rehabilitative services, all under one roof in each of our locations. Midwest Orthopedic Consultants, bringing university-level orthopedic care close to home.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you are just joining us, we are at Athletics, Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. A second location also in Orland Park. Our good buddy Tom Mulvey, physical therapist, exercise physiologist, owner of Athletics, is our guest. And if you're a family of an athlete, you definitely want to sit back and continue to watch this. All right. Tom, we're going to talk about what is the most critical point of rehabilitation for the injured athlete.
I think it's critical that from the first day we meet the athlete through the process of addressing his injury or her injury and getting them back to play, it's critical that a trust is developed, and that person has to have a trust in all everyone involved, from the physician to the therapist to even that the family have them on the proper process. And at the end, we need to have that player trust that they are prepared to return and make the attempt to return to play. If they don't trust that they're at that point, then we have not accomplished what we need to do in the time period that we have them.
Okay. And speaking of trust, this plays right into this. So who decides on when to return to play? Not mom and dad, right?
No.
Not the coach,
no,
right?
No. So the treating doctor will give the approval for this player to return. And many factors kind of feed into this decision. The doctor is not just saying, gee, I think that this person is just ready to go and let him go. That player, there's typically a protocol involved with a particular injury, but no person is perfectly falls within the realm of that protocol. Some people heal faster, some people heal slower. So the physical therapy role of being able to see this person go through range of motion, go through strength training, being able to document those measures objectively, and then being able to see this player perform functional movements and specific movements that really give us, from the research, give us a good idea of whether or not they are capable of making that next step. All that information is provided to the physician, and thus, as a group, the determination is made.
And it's not like this kid, the player just goes back and returns to full activity.
No, but again, once that player leaves us and goes and returns to the team, we really don't have very much control. We have control and we have them, but once they set foot, back to school, there's many variables. I mean, that player could be incredibly motivated to return back to full play tomorrow. that coach may love to have that player back in the game tomorrow. And so we need to make sure that we establish some guidelines, and we hope, and most times, I mean, from my experience, most of these teams have been very cooperative. But we need to make sure before that player sets foot in a gym or on a field that they have the confidence to believe that they can take this next hurdle on.
Yep.
Because it's concerning if we don't have them confident that they can make this move, how they will reflect, how they will show their skill to people that don't quite understand what they've gone through, could jeopardize their position in the hierarchy of that team.
And you talk about guidelines, Tom. Sometimes you hear a 4 to 6 week recovery time. Is that set in stone?
No, it isn't set in stone, and in fact, it surprise you at the length of time that some people are out. There was a study done out of Northwestern, the Feinberg School of Medicine. The physicians were Dr. Harry Mai, Danielle Chun, Andrew Schneider, Brandon Erickson, Ryan Freshman, Benjamin Kessler, Nikhil Verma, Wellington Su. And it was a study that was all based on performance outcomes after an anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction in professional athletes. And the study found very interesting rates of return following only the best of surgery as well as the best of rehabilitation. The average return to play was 367 days.
Over a year.
And that was just on average. For NHL players, that return was 258 days. And for NBA players, it was 424 days, which is interesting now when you think of Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose, yeah.
Major League Baseball, 417 days, and the NFL, 369 days.
Wow.
NBA players demonstrated decreased performance in that year post, and it's really assumed in most of these players that first year after, that they really, it's still a process of regaining both their skill and their confidence. But NFL players demonstrated the most difficult return, and it was even in years 2 and 3 post-repair that they had a gradual improvement in skill, but still some deficit. And the hockey players made the smoothest return, and they actually were, competing at a relatively high level after that first year.
And Gerard and I, as hockey guys, we don't find that too surprising. We're pretty tough guys. We like to get back out there. And, you talk about rotator cuff tears, right,
Sure.
that are very different. We should have Gerard come out here, because he's had some rotator cuff issues, our cameraman extraordinaire. But they are different, right? The size of the tear.
And those are the variables. The size of the tear, the procedure performed, the type of activity that, the player has to return to. But the bottom line here is do we get them confident enough to trust that they can make an attempt to return?
Yep, trust. And that Derrick Rose, that's a very good point, what he's gone through after his injury, So, all right, folks, we are going to go, coincidentally, to an athletics timeout. We return more with Tom Mulvey from Athletex. We're going to talk about factors influence their successful return when they are cleared to play. So a lot of good stuff here. And, of course, former Eisenhower principal Donata Yates is in attendance as well. Stay tuned. Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy is a 2,200 square foot facility that includes the latest in rehabilitation equipment, including the HydroTrack underwater treadmill. All therapists at Athletex are experienced and offer hands-on treatment for patients that require such therapy. Whether it's your feet, ankles, knees, hips, lower back, shoulders, elbows, wrists, neck, or jaw, Athletex is here to help. We at Athletex understand you as a patient have the right to choose where you receive treatment. Ask your physician if Athletex, with locations in Oak Lawn and Orland Park, is right for you. Whether you're in the mood for a Chicago-style hot dog, Italian beef sandwich, Philly cheesesteak, or charbroiled cheeseburger, Joey's Red Hots has you covered. In the mood for something lighter, Joey's Salads promises to hit the spot. Looking to cool off on a hot day or after a workout? Joey's refreshing homemade Italian ice will satisfy. Come check out Joey's Red Hots at 17400 Wolf Road in Orland Park, or at 115th Street and Western Avenue in the Beverly community, where they're open until 5 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. No matter which location you visit, Joey's Red Hots promises to provide exceptional tasting food at an affordable price.
We came up with a bunch of clever commercial ideas to entice you into trying Beggar's Pizza. We decided to let the food speak for itself.
I'm a half sausage for you and your husband and a half just cheese for the kids, who never seem to stop moving. Go ahead and take the night off, Mom. I got you covered. Beggar's Pizza. We lay it on thick.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. All right, we're at Athletex, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. Tom Mulvey is our guest. All right, Tom, you know, the big hot topic, concussions. Let's hear what you have to say about it.
In regards to the issue of concussions and the psychosocial impact, tremendous, because these athletes are going through a period in which they can be experiencing cognitive deficits, they can be experiencing some depressive episodes, and you don't know if it's due to the just the effect of the concussion, or if this is again a situation, as we've been talking about, where their impact on the team and the hierarchy and relationships with other players is impacting those feelings. So it's critical, and it's again something we need to be looking at.
So do any other factors influence an athlete's return when they are cleared to play?
Absolutely. So we need to have everybody on board to look at this person and say, are they truly ready to be reintegrated into the training program? How do they move? Are they saying they're fine, but you look at their quality of movement and they surely are not ready? Are they apprehensive for certain movements? Is there a fear? Because is there a fear with, if they injured at cutting, are they afraid to do the cutting movement? We need to look and see if there's symmetry in their movement, if they run, if they appear like they can run with symmetrical movement, and then progress them from that point. We need to know that they trust the newly repaired and rehabilitated extremity.
Okay. And what do we do to address the psychosocial impact of injury, Tom?
So it's important that some of the very basic things that we take for granted that don't always happen, we need to have interaction with these athletes. Coaches need to talk to them, trainers need to talk to them, therapists, we need to talk to them. What's really going on in their lives, and what's going on outside of we know that they're missing the team. Remember that sport is also a stress release, and so now that they're not competing or training, what are their stresses that are occurring? We need to educate them in regards to the rehabilitative process. These young people need to know what was done and what impact it's going to have, and how does the process lay out? What is the potential for the amount of time for them to be back? And we cannot assume that all of these players are fine. And we need to talk to them and find out where they are and how they're progressing.
Well, you touched on a lot of very important issues, Tom, as you always do when we have you on as our guest. And as a former athlete, I was injured my junior year at Eisenhower. I was injured in my professional career. And all these factors, psychologically, physically, they all play a great part. And, you touched on them all. So, and not a surprise. And we should mention, whether you're a former principal, no matter what sport you play, if you're playing at the high school level, collegiate level, professional level, even if you're a cameraman, like our guy Gerard Grabowski, Tom will do his best and get you back on your feet and get you back to 100% health, because he is the best, and we've had dozens upon dozens of athletes in this area that come and see Tom at Oak Lawn or the Orland Park location. All right, Tom, thank you again, my man, all right?
Always fun.
Happy New Year, and we are going to go to a Labriola Bakery Cafe timeout. Remember, 2 locations, Streeterville and Oak Brook. When we come back, Players of the Week, high and tight. Stay tuned.
Looking for a unique dining experience with incredible food? Then check out Labriola Bakery Cafe. Opened by Rich Labriola, Chicago's premier artisan baker, you know they'll have great bread, but you won't believe the rest of their menu. Wood-fired Neapolitan pizzas, fresh pasta, and their world-famous Richie Burger. There's also homemade gelato and, of course, their famous bread. Labriola Bakery Cafe and Neapolitan Pizzeria, conveniently located in the Oak Brook Promenade.
At Lisa Thomas Salon, we think loving yourself and your selfie starts with the perfect stylist. That's why we've assembled an amazing team, each with a unique passion for beauty, providing the perfect combination of innovation and experience. Then adding just a little bit of fun. For hair, skin, nails, and makeup, no one does beautiful like Lisa Thomas, because life's too exciting to settle for the same old thing. Schedule today at Lisa Thomas Salon, a Redken Elite partner with 3 area locations.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. I'd like to thank Tom Mulvey from Athletex for being our guest again this year. All right, folks, let's hit Players of the Week. Kicking off with Labriola Bakery Cafe Golden Baguette Player of the Week. Game I was at Friday night, a thriller. Ethan Bellino of Oak Forest drains a three-pointer at the buzzer in overtime to lift the Bengals over Shepherd 56-53. So for Ethan's efforts, we're going to hook him up with a $25 gift card, compliments of Labriola Bakery Cafe in Oak Brook in Chicago. Also going to be used at Stan's Donuts locations and at La Barra. So, man, that was a great game. You know, I hate to see it against my guy, Tony Chickadego from Shepherd. He's my guy, boys basketball coach there, but he's doing a tremendous job. The Astros are 9-5, as is Mansky at Oak Forest. They are 11-4. All right, the Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club Player of the Week. We're going to hook up Taylor Gugliuzza. She scored 20 points to lead Lincoln Way West to a 66-50 win over Trinity at the Chicagoland Invitational Showcase. So we're going to hook up Taylor with a nice gift certificate, goodie package, compliments of Lisa Thomas Salon in locations Tinley Park, Oak Forest, and Mokina. All right, and high and tight, folks. So if you were watching the Los Angeles Chargers in their playoff game on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, with the Chargers won that game, you'll notice, and I did a column on this Sunday in the Southtown, 2 starters on the offensive line for the Chargers, Michael Schofield and Dan Feeney, are graduates of Sandburg High School. How cool and unique is that? I don't think there's another high school in the country that can say they have 2 graduates who are playing on the same NFL team and play on the same line. They both play guard on the offensive line, they're starters. 75 Mike Schofield, 66 Dan Feeney, and Mike Schofield's father is a fire chief in Orland Park. And beyond being excellent football players, Dan went to Indiana, Michael went to Michigan. They are tremendous kids, man. Great, great young men. So just, if you're from the Southland, be proud of this, because there's no one else in the country who could boast of this achievement. So kudos to Sandburg High School. All right, folks, hope you had a great, enjoy the show. Hope you have a great week. We will see you next week. Take it easy.